Diane again here. Day 15 of 30 Days, 30 Authors. We're at the halfway point, guys. And since we're at the halfway point, I thought it might be a good time to ask a couple questions and get some feedback from you guys. So I've been doing this for a little over 2 weeks now, and I've been noticing that there's been quite a lot of interaction on my video posts, more than I typically get in the stuff that I usually post on this page. And I'm also noticing more interaction on the longer direct to Facebook posts as opposed to the ones that I syndicate from my blog. And what I want to know is, once the 30 days are over, once July is behind us, do you want to see more of this kind of thing? Would you like me to do more video posts? Maybe, I don't know, once a week or so. Or perhaps I'll do one once a week on Facebook here and another one on a different day once a week on my YouTube channel. Let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. They'd be little posts like this, brief subjects, little updates. You know, if I don't have any updates, it'd be personal stuff. Whatever. If that's something that you'd like to see, tell me. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it myself, and I feel like that you guys care and that there's engagement, so that's cool. I like to engage with people, so I'm enjoying that part, and thank you very much for all your support so far. So today we're supposed to talk about other projects that we have on the go. Now, as you know, this month, and I'm going to turn my camera around here again, I've been focusing on my Chronicles of the Weird West project, which, if you have not heard specifically, is a serial that I'm publishing on Kindle once every 2 months on the 20th of the month. I'm also circulating it on other e-platforms now, like Drive-Thru Fiction, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, etc. Right? I am releasing my third story in the series, The Vigil, in a couple of days. That'll be on the 20th. And on this page, I'll be holding a small takeover event. We've got some great fantasy authors. We're going to run it all day, and they're going to share their stuff with you. We've got some giveaways. Among the giveaways, we're going to be offering some of this swag, which I've got here. As you can see, there's 5 different bookmarks. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to include them in the prize, but I'm going to, there'll be more for the grand prize winners, and then, you'll get less of the bookmarks as the different, levels of prize, right? And that's all done by Rafflecopter. It's a perfectly random draw, and I'm going to get that going probably tomorrow, and I'm going to run it until the end of the month, so that people have an opportunity to enter. So, now that I've mentioned that, here's some of my other projects that I have going on. I have finally gotten organized and gotten the print version back of my dystopian novelette, Food on Their Table, which was originally intended for the Kindle Storyteller competition, but because I wasn't able to get the book organized, the print book organized in time, I did not make the competition, but it's out there. It's $2.99 on Kindle, and it is $6.99 on CreateSpace. And how you can tell the difference is the blue cover is the print book, the green cover is the Kindle book. So I'll have these available. I'll have some that one of these signed will be part of one of the prizes at least in my takeover event. So this is something else that's out there that you may be interested in. Now, the other day, they had this event on Twitter that was called Can Lit Pit, right? A literary pitch. And what it is that you use that hashtag, and you use a hashtag for genre, and then you pitch your story idea in 140 characters or less. And if one of the publishers who are paying attention to it like it, they will like your post, and that's basically an invitation to please submit a manuscript. So I submitted a pitch for my Toy Soldier saga, and my pitch said, Can Lit Pit, fantasy space opera. A young midshipman learns the horrors of war when he lies about his age to join up. And I got a like from Edge Publishing in Canada. So I've got a couple of last minute touches that I'd like to do before I send it to them, but I'm going to be doing that within the next week. As soon as the Vigils editing is finally behind me, I'm finishing it tonight. I have to have it uploaded tomorrow. So yeah, cross your fingers, guys. But then I'm going to be finishing this up, which I estimate will take me about a week, and then I'm going to be sending that to Edge Publishing, and we'll see what happens with that. If not, I will be publishing it on my own. That was my original intention. This beautiful art piece was done by the incredible Aaron Siddall, and this was part of what was intended to be the cover of the first book, which I will still be doing if Edge Publishing doesn't decide that they want it. But I thought, well, here's a chance. What the hell? Let's give it a shot. So I did. And another project I've got going is that, because I'm working with Aaron Siddall, this is his game, which he's designing for the Grit and Vigor system. It's called Tales of the Stellar Deep, and it's basically Flash Gordon meets the Cthulhu mythos. And I am writing a novella for his game world, and I've also done the flavor text in his game book, which will be coming out sometime, I think, before the end of the year, so stay tuned on that. So I'm writing for role-playing games too. Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? Like most writers, I have a million things going on at once. Another project that I'm doing is that I'm writing a hard science fiction novel, and I started doing this because somebody in my writers group said, "Oh good, I'm glad you're writing fantasy because women can't write science fiction." I went, challenge accepted, buddy. So it's about 3/4 of the way done, maybe 2/3. I don't know, I kind of lost direction with it for a while, but I've gotten it back. I've posted an excerpt from it recently on my blog. I'm working on it, and basically it's that's the next plan after Toy Soldier is dealt with. It's called The Cloud, and the premise is basically, I don't know if you've been hearing a lot about this commercial mining in space idea, but there are a couple of firms out there that are very serious about doing it. We're this close to having the technology to do it properly. We have the technology now. It's just a matter of making it economically viable, and that's probably going to happen within the next couple of years, so we're going to be able to start mining near-Earth objects. Basically, their idea is to set up a processing plant in space using a metal-based 3D printer to process the ore, which I think is just the coolest shit. I mean, isn't that cool? That is some cool stuff. I got interested in this idea when I toured the Sudbury Mining Museum, the place with the big nickel, and that was last year, not this year. And they were talking about space mining, and I started researching it. So I'm really psyched for it, and I think everybody else should be too. The cool thing about space mining is that siderophile elements, that means an element that bonds with iron easily, are really common on the surface of space objects that do not have atmospheres. On our planet, they tend to burrow into the mantle, but on an asteroid, they're right close to the surface. And those kind of elements are the stuff like gold and platinum, right? Also, fluorocarbons are much more common, we're finding out, in the vast distances of space. Titan might be entirely raw oil, basically, or something that could be processed into oil. So there is a whole wealth of available stuff out there if we can just get to it. It's the transporting of it that is the expensive part. So my world visualizes a future where we have solved some of those technical problems in terms of the vast distances. And it's a couple hundred years in the future, so most of the near-Earth objects have been mined. There is a prospecting group that has modified a luxury liner space cruiser into an environment that a handful of mining astronauts and scientists can live in for a few years, and they have sent it out to the Oort cloud, which is, as we're discovering, basically a vast field of rocks and various space debris, and possibly a planet or two that it marks the edge of our solar system. It sort of overlaps into our nearest star's solar system as well. So I don't really know why that is, and nobody else does either. Basically, we only know it's there because of gravitation, and we've only seen a couple of objects from it that we've confirmed visually. So, lots of possibilities there for science fiction writers. So I'm really excited about that. My main character is a 40-ish woman from Vancouver, and I'm pretty excited about exploring those options. So it'll be more of a, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Grounded, maybe, but not quite. It's I like fantasy, high fantasy, epic space opera type scenarios. This is very closed. It's all sort of like a locked room drama, really. So it's a bit of a different take for me, and I cannot wait to see how it's going to turn out. And yeah, the last project that I'm working on is a high fantasy, and it's a bit of a twist, right? The main character is named Vaughn, and it starts out looking a lot like your very typical high fantasy story. Vaughn has been raised by a local forester, but he's actually the hidden ruler of the realm. And upon coming of age and being assaulted by the enemies of the overthrown kingdom, he has to go and reclaim the throne and go on these big quests and use magic and all this kind of stuff. Except that he was, unbeknownst to him, he was changed into a boy to hide him when he was young, and he was actually born female. So when he actually reclaims the magic of the throne that he's supposed to claim, basically he's changed back to his original gender, and now he has to deal with all of that. So I have a transgendered hero, and I'm pretty excited about that because I would like to see more representation of LGBTQ people in fantasy, so it's important to me. It's not your typical fantasy quest in that it's not, leveling up constantly, going to get the next thing to be tougher and whatever, right? Vaughn has to think about logistics and actual warfare, and I'm very focused on having a realistic kind of fantasy warfare scenario where people have to plan strategic goals and then execute them tactically. So I'm excited about that too. That's, I think, what I immediately have on my plate, aside from some short stories that I'm submitting to a couple of different magazines and anthologies. And I think I've talked long enough, especially because I'm still trying to write to deadlines, so I think I'm going to call that a day. Thanks for joining me again, and tomorrow I will be back. The topic will be a unique talent. So stay tuned. Bye.